Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome to a new review for episode 4 of the Endgame. So let's talk about this episode. This episode is titled Number One with a Bullet. Now, last week I fell asleep during the episode, so I sort of watched it in two halves, which wasn't good. Not because the episode bored me in any way, but because I was so damn tired. So I was off my game. I didn't really feel like talking about it. This sort of thing. I just felt like crap. But anyway, so Number One with a Bullet, episode 4. So this episode, we find out a lot about Val Turner's backstory, her time in Gambia, her time with Elena in Gambia when Elena was watching over her, trying to rescue these American teachers that had been captured. And it turns out that Elena is the one that had shot a bullet that nearly hit her, but it wasn't aiming at her. It was distracting her from stopping her moving ahead in her plan to go back another way to keep her out of walking into the sort of ambush kind of territory. So yeah, this episode, also the primary story in one of the banks, the main bank, everyone manages to escape, so that the police manage to get inside. Fedorova's lackeys get out, and they go into the bank. They go upstairs. They find some diamonds laying around, and it turns out that these diamonds have been used to power this laser system. This laser system that catches Jonathan Doak, the FBI director, the guy who's over Val Turner, her nemesis, so to speak, in the FBI. It captures him with two other random guys behind this laser beam that potentially could harm them, kill them, and the laser beam keeps moving forward and they've got no way out, and this sort of a thing. Now, this has all been set up by Elena, obviously, but it wasn't done to capture Jonathan Doak, but it does get a confession out of him of something that's happened in his past when he was a much younger officer, that was heard by the FBI, the primary FBI director guy who's in with Elena. This is kept a secret, but he's brought into the fold more so in there, and he's basically been told that he's got to take orders from Val. It's almost a demotion of sorts, which kind of sets up this sense of intrigue in his character, in that he's now gunning for Elena, that he's now got a personal vendetta against her and getting her and bringing her down and what she does. While all this is going on, we get Sergei and Owen. They're still in prison, and if you remember in last week's episode, we were introduced to a character called Harek, who was a individual that knew Sergei, but Sergei's pretending not to know him, and they end up poisoning him to get him off of their trail, get him into the infirmary for a week, so this plan can play out without him affecting anything, or so all this sort of stuff going on. Now, the episode ends with Val Turner finding out exactly how Elena's getting her information, with the red light that flashes, because they've come to find that texts have been going around that are done in ones and zeros, and this is how she's been communicated to, the ones and zeros as sort of a Morse code through the red flashing light. This phone has been has been retrieved from the bottom of a dock where they've managed to capture one of her lieutenants. So we find out all this stuff, but also we come to find out that the Americans have been potentially selling arms to the people in Gambia who they shouldn't have been selling arms to, a little sort of illegal arms trade, and everyone involved in this are found in this photo in this bank manager's office, who's one of the people that gets brought down in this episode. So all this stuff, twisty-turny stuff going on, and a lot of revelation, a lot of stuff being found out. Now, up until now, the series has been very formulaic in what it's done. And this can only go on so long. Like with any sort of writing and TV series, a new TV series, you do have the formulaic stuff thrown in the first few episodes to build up a sort of, this is what it's about, and then you get into a larger narrative as the series continues. And I'm hoping that with this episode, we're starting to, after this episode, we're stepping into that larger narrative, because things are changing. Things are changing, the dynamics between characters and the way they see one another. Obviously, Jonathan Doak with Val Turner and Elena, there's going to be a shift there. Elena, her communication efforts being found out by Val Turner, that's going to create a shift of power and all this sort of thing. So moving forward from here, we should be seeing a change. So it was a good episode in the sense that it set up this potential change that I'm hoping to see in the narrative of the next episode, because I don't want to be watching this going on the way it is, because it gets a bit silly. You know, you can only go so far with them making these plans and planning stuff out, and do you know what I'm saying? There needs to be something different within it to keep you interested in what's going on. The programme is layered. It's very, very layered. It's quite a tough programme to talk about, because there is quite a lot going on with different characters and all this sort of stuff. It's different things being found out. But nevertheless, a good episode. You know, it didn't bore. It narratively speaking, it ran its time. It flowed very well. A lot of intrigue again. Morena Baccarin is fantastic in the role that she's playing. But beyond her, am I really liking any of the other characters? I don't think so. I think Jonathan Doak, there's going to be some interest there as his character changes. Val Turner, I can sort of take or leave. But yeah, so anyway, that's it. Just a quick chat about this latest episode. And I'll be back for a little chat about next week. So why don't you tell me down in the comments below what you thought about this episode, how you perceive it to be going. Are you enjoying it? Are you going off of it? Are you getting bored with it? Just come and tell me. Let me know. And we can get into a discussion with it. I do respond to all comments. I will respond. And yeah, so that's it. Hit the notification bell if you so wish. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.